Buzzers, The Ranch is back on Netflix. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I feel like I should
so beautiful.
It's so good. It brings me back to my southern roots.
There's so many twangy, fun things happening in this song.
We have so much going on in these two episodes. Hey guys, my name is Candice Cruz, and you can find me on all of my social media at Candice R. Cruz, and I'm joined with my fantastic co-host.
Hi, I'm Bryce McLeay. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Bryce Advice.
Oh, I like that.
There's not a lot of advice going on.
There's no advice?
Well,
You don't have any advice
sometimes-
for me, but that's
Sometimes it's very sporadic. It's if I'm feeling in an advice type mood.
You know that you mean like you're basically giving me false advertisement.
I know.
I'm so
I need to
disappointed.
change it. But I think if I say my name, then people. I mean, this is like a little nice spin on it.
Okay.
If I say my name, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, we'll go with it.
Yeah.
We'll go with it.
Good.
So, well, The Ranch is back, and we're really confused whether it's season 2 or part 3. So we're gonna go with both.
That's a good point.
We don't really know, but it is the next 30 years, and things change. So there was a lot going on in these two episodes. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when I first started the show, watching season 1, I was kind of like, "This is cute. I like it." I mean, I'm from the South, so it was kind of like, tongue in cheek. I was like, oh yeah, get it, ha ha ha. But I was so pleasantly surprised where they led the show.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm from Nebraska, so it's pretty close to Colorado.
Perfect.
It's a lot of. I mean, there's people love country music there. It's a small. I basically grew up in a small town.
Mm-hmm.
So it felt
Basically?
Yeah, basically. Well, I mean, it's a long. Let's not get into that. But basically, my mom was from a really small town, and I spent a lot of time down there. So it feels very much like that. Because I mean, I don't. Not that this. Obviously, this is a fictional town of Garrison, and there's supposedly in the opening titles there's 500.
Is it 500? I thought it was like 800. But yeah, there's so
either
few,
one. I mean,
right.
it's like less than 1,000 people, and that's kind of how this town that my mom grew up in.
That's how I feel. I'm from Kentucky. I say Louisville because no one knows where I'm actually from. I'm sorry, guys, if you're watching. I love you, but I mean,
What are you actually? What's the town called?
I'm from Brandenburg, Kentucky.
Okay.
So
Never heard of
we
it.
actually go by counties in Kentucky. If anyone from Kentucky's watching, shout out. But we don't go by towns because we're so small. We go by counties. So it's like I'm from Hardin County, or I'm from Meade County, or
So how many? Are there a ton?
There's
less
120 counties.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, there's 120 counties, but in my town, I think we're up to 9 stoplights for the whole county. Which is 5 towns.
Yeah.
1 high school for 5 towns. So I mean,
You probably got a lot of diversity there.
I'm being sarcastic there.
Yes.
Yes. But I mean, I loved growing up in a small town, and a lot of this, I think that's why I love the show so much, is that it does remind me a lot of.
Yeah. Does it feel like that to you?
Yeah.
Or?
I mean, there's a lot of like, it's so funny. Some of the people, the characters, like, are so spot on, and the accents are so spot on, and it reminds me so much of like people I grew up with and people in my family. So,
who do you relate to the most? Do you think?
You know what? I kind of feel a little bit like Colt. I haven't gotten myself in a scenario that he's in right now, but more so of like, trying to leave the small town and like go out and spread your wings and do what you want to do, but always remembering that your roots are still at home. So I think that's kind of, definitely.
That's great.
Definitely connection. What about you?
Probably Rooster.
Love Rooster.
I know he's great.
So good.
Probably just because he seems to be so all over the place, and
he's aloof.
Yeah, totally.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I would rather be aloof.
I love being aloof. I think it's really quite a great character trait. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, it starts off so hot and heavy. Like,
Right.
It's not anything like light. It's Christmas time. It's snowing. And I'm like, oh, yay, Christmas. And then it's like, I'm pregnant. It's like,
I know.
what?
Talk about the best Christmas present. I mean,
Right.
like, why would a girl say that to you? Imagine a girl coming to you and saying that she's pregnant on Christmas Day. That's like the
And not your
worst.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
This isn't a happy occasion yet. But like,
if the holidays weren't stressful enough, here's a pregnancy.
yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays,
Yeah.
which clearly Beau does not like that.
Right.
I
Oh,
love
yeah.
Beau's one-liners.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. What do you think? Do you think it is like Happy Holidays versus Merry Christmas? Is there?
I mean, I love that we're having this conversation in June. It's fantastic.
I know, that's what I was.
Christmas
that was-
is my favorite time of year.
Yeah.
So I love this. My thing is with Happy Holiday, it depends on where I'm at.
Right.
I think I kind of, make sure the climate's appropriate. I want, because the thing is like,
PC.
I want to an extent, like if you're Jewish, I'm going to say Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah.
I may not be Jewish, but Happy Hanukkah to you.
Yeah.
And if you're Christian, I'm going to say Merry Christmas. Or if you celebrate, so whatever you celebrate, I'll say that versus Happy Holidays. I think that's a little bit more like where I stand.
Yeah, I think Happy Holidays is, obviously more general. If you're, I grew up in a Christmas household, so it's like always like Merry Christmas. I don't think I've ever heard any of my relatives say Happy Holidays ever.
No, I would get disowned if I said Happy Holidays.
I don't think so.
Be like, well, it was not happy for them though.
No, it wasn't.
And poor guy, like he literally just got a bomb dropped on him and does not know what to do. Like I loved seeing the emotional range of Ashton Kutcher in this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So good because he's such a comedic actor. Like he's fantastic. I love him as an actor. I love him as a person. I love all of his stuff that he puts out. He does a lot of good, but like to see him kind of drop into that place and also a fatherly place because he now does have kids with Mila Kunis and he's become that father figure. So I think he relates a little bit more to that.
Right.
Like, and I loved seeing Beau and Colt's relationship strengthen later on in the first episode and the like fatherly wisdom that he finally gives you.
Yeah, I think I'm actually the opposite. I really didn't like Ashton Kutcher as an actor until this role. And now
really?
I think he's fantastic in this. I think it's really brought a lot of he's been able to bring a lot of range to the role that that I hadn't seen before. I mean, and especially in that scene where he just really is. You're like it's like a gut check. It's like okay, here now he's stuck with this decision to either stay with the woman that he loves or
be with Heather.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because we've got to run down on the characters here.
Yeah, let's do
we've
that.
got a little love triangle going on. So Heather is now pregnant with Colt's baby. And Heather's 23. Right. She's young. Like she's a baby herself. And they didn't, apparently he even says this later on in the second episode, that Abby knew about their relationship before him and Abby were dating.
Or the time that they got pregnant.
So regardless, like he didn't cheat on her. So thankfully for that, good for him. Good for you, Colt. And then Abby is his like long true love that he's loved since high school, that he's, always wanted to be with. He even says, he was like, my dreams in life were to go win a Heisman and to end up with Abby. Like those were his two big things. And he's like, I have Abby.
Well, and right before the season started, he was going to propose to Abby. And then he got this bomb dropped on him right before this. So I think that he was going to fulfill that.
Well, he even says that too. He was like, I was going to propose to her tonight. And then I found out, and to make things more awkward, on Christmas, you go to Mass. Like, the one time you go to church is on Mass, and you're going to be late. Yeah. But they
by the way, they would never get seats in Mass. Unless they're like 2 hours early. But anyway,
you
I
have
digress.
to wait in line to get in, and then when you get in, you save those seats. Like, do not move.
No way.
Never.
But yeah, no, keep going.
So awkward. Like, you walk into the church, and it's like, I'm literally sitting between a rock and a hard place.
Right. Meanwhile, his mom and his brother and his brother's girlfriend, who is the mother of
Heather's mom.
Heather's mom, who the girl who's got pregnant. They're all sitting in two rows. And Abby's parents, who hate Colt. Let's not go.
Oh yeah, let's go back.
That.
We'll rewind before church. Poor Colt's literally got this bomb dropped on him. He goes to pick up Abby, finds Abby smoking. She never smokes because she's like, I'm so stressed. I can't do this anymore.
I'm so glad that they finally introduced a character that is smoking because everybody on a ranch smokes. I mean, like again, I'm from Nebraska. Everyone smokes in Nebraska. Not that that's an entire ranch, but still.
Yeah, I mean, I like that they're being very authentic to the area and the people there. But I loved when what is Abby's mom's name?
Yeah, Mary Jo Rupp.
Yes. Oh my God. I was like, I have this written down somewhere. Where did I put it? Love her. I was like,
I mean, shame on the Netflix studio audience for not giving her an applause
track.
Like
they should have, right?
I mean, huge. That's like, I mean, any guest star in that 70s show or 2.5 Men should have one.
Right? Oh my God, I love it. And it was literally when I first watched the whole show, I was like, and I was talking about Danny Masterson. I was like, why does he look so familiar? Why is this dynamic reminding me of something? I was like, Yes. Got it.
Right.
Got it.
No, she's so good, perfectly cast. I hope that they show her more like throughout the season.
Oh, I'm sure they will. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, with the drama, the way that it ended, which we'll talk about a little bit later, the way that things ended between Abby and Colt, I think that Mom's here to stay for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But her comic relief, man, walking out, he's like, I like your vest. She's like, thanks. I got one for her too, but it didn't fit.
Yeah.
Didn't fit. She doesn't
fit.
like God. She doesn't like a vest. She's
And now
smoking.
she smokes.
God.
I know.
Such a problem child.
Exactly. She really brought a lot. And like later in the episode when she's in church and she's like, they ask her how living in Grand Junction is, and she's like, they have a Thai place, and I can't remember the other, but
Mexican.
A Mexican.
They have a Thai and a Mexican restaurant. We really like the
They're
Thai
like,
place.
whoa, are you crazy? Like.
They have a spicy level from 1 to 10. My level's 2. Yeah. And then if I have, what was it? A rosé. If I have a rosé, I go to 3. She gets so excited.
I mean, ridiculous.
So great.
But I like that. I like how that, and her dad just really despises him too. I mean, he came to fix the furnace after Colt fixed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was really. I think it's, and they still hang out with. So her parents still hang out with Abby's ex-fiance.
Which is so creepy and weird. Who worked at the Marriott. Marriott, yes. It's
Do you think it's
Marriott.
only because that they get to do those? Like she said that he lets her mom play the piano and she throws in something extra for the dad.
Yeah,
like
I can't remember
at the bar. But do you think that it's just because of that special stuff that they like him, or do you think they just like him as a?
I think it's a plus. I think that's what they wanted for their daughter. Like they wanted someone that had affluence and like could get her up the ladder and get her out of the town, because clearly they've moved to Grand Junction. So they're all up in it and moving on up. But I think that that's what they wanted for their daughter, because clearly Colt is a wannabe football player. He didn't survive in the football world, and now he's come back to work on a ranch. Like, not really promising from a parent's perspective of like, you know, they were dating at age 15 and he hasn't done anything. Like, I think why would I?
Yeah, no, I think that's cool about his character, because he is sort of like, you know, he is this pro athlete, but they don't really glorify it in the show, which I think is kind of interesting. I mean, a lot of other shows where they have, you know, either someone who's been a former athlete or a celebrity, they really capitalize on that. And with him, it's really, I mean, aside from his, you know, like good looks or whatever, it's really not apparent that he's not treated any differently. Nothing is coming from that. So I think that's interesting too.
I like that he failed.
Yeah.
To be honest. And I know that sounds really crappy of me, but I feel like you wouldn't have a dynamic show like you do unless, you know, your main character's got some adversity going against him. Like, I like that he's literally trying to find himself. And like, I mean, he even gets a book from his dad for Christmas of like all of his clippings of like all of his accolades and stuff. Right. Like, you know, that's an end of his chapter. Like, he's done.
It sounds like he's a mess too. I mean, when his dad, when he was going through, he said the Florida State, he was tased by the Florida State police. I mean, I mean, he just sounds like a complete mess of a football player, which is good too. I mean,
a mess of a person too for a while.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just loved that whole interaction between the parents and like even the dad having that side remark where Maggie's like, when was the last time I saw you? Oh, after Abby got her stomach pumped? Yeah, that's the last time we saw you.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's some...
They must have moved right to
shade.
Grand Junction after that.
Right.
I mean, that must have been the last straw for them. It was like,
we're going to Grand Junction. Let's go.
So obviously Abby didn't go, so maybe that was not the right way.
No. But. And then Danny Masterson is so good. Like, I love him so much as an actor, and his one-liners. Like, you know, Colt is like, hey, Rooster, can I go let's go light a candle for Grandma? And he's like, well, she died by fire, but sure, that makes sense.
Yeah, and he's like, I'll keep. And when Colt finally tells him that says that Heather's pregnant, he says, oh, well, I'll like raise the kid. Basically, I'll like make sure that I do everything. I'll teach him how to throw a football, all the stuff that you're terrible at. And you're like,
Colt doesn't even flinch. Yeah. She's like, that makes sense.
Like, okay, great.
Yeah.
But it's just so funny that's what a brother would do, I think. I mean, but still, it's very inappropriate, obviously. I mean, he's hopefully not going to leave. That would be really, really terrible.
Who leave? Rooster?
Well, I mean, no, if Colt were to leave the child, I mean, I was like, whatever, you know.
Right,
but we'll get to that, I guess.
Well, I mean, that gets into a little twist, too. Now, Rooster is dating Mary, who is Heather's mom. So that's a weird turn of events. Like,
and Mary is is she's a waitress at the restaurant, right? At a restaurant in town.
I believe so, but Maggie is the bartender. Maggie's their mom.
Yeah, Maggie's mom.
Yeah. So, I mean, and we can talk a little bit about Maggie and Beau's relationship too, which is completely strained.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like,
I thought that's interesting too because, you know, they just got a divorce. So they just got a divorce, and I think that has to be a really. I mean, here their kids are grown. They could easily not have anything to do with each other.
Right.
And it seems like they're always kind of being pulled into each other's orbits within the context of the show, at least.
I think as you do in a small town, you kind of can't escape.
Right. And so I think that's, I thought that was very interesting. It's a very interesting dynamic to explore because it is kind of like it feels like they've been strained the entire series and then finally get divorced. And now what's next? How does our relationship either evolve or devolve or whatever? So
I feel like you almost have to be civil,
right?
At least
absolutely.
enough to keep things going. And you know, Beau is a man of very few words, so I think that's okay for Maggie. I think she's fine.
Yeah.
I think she'll be okay.
Yeah. But even when she took him home, you know, so he was wasted, it's really funny to see him drunk because he just. I mean, his voice is just incredible. Sam Elliott's voice is phenomenal, but. She takes him home, and you know, she's I felt like at the beginning she was feeling really nostalgic and feeling a little bit, you know, reminiscent of
Christmas and
Christmas,
holidays.
Yeah,
and
I think
family.
that especially that time, you know, it is that time of year, and so I just don't. I wondered in that moment she kind of seemed like she would be. And then he asked to sleep with her, but. I wondered if in that moment she was thinking about it until he actually asked her. And I think that when he actually asked her, she was like, all right, it's off the table kind of thing. So
Agreed. Well, Beau is such a dynamic character in the slightest of ways, though, because he doesn't have much to say, but when he does say something, it's meaningful and powerful.
Yeah.
Like the relationship between him and Colt.
Oh, absolutely.
Talking about like having... You know, I mean, Colt's strained right now. He's already talked to Rooster. He doesn't know what to do. Like, he obviously is against abortion. He wants to keep the baby, but he doesn't know, like, do I stay with Heather? Do I tell Abby? Like, what the hell am I supposed to do? And, you know, Beau's words of wisdoms were, you know, really, really
very
powerful.
fatherly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was what a father should say to his son. I mean, and he really brought perspective, I think, and I think Colt finally understood, you know, this isn't about me. It's not about me. It is about the child that I'm, you know, about to have, and I have to think about him or her, regardless of my own feelings. Yeah. So I think that was really a great scene, and I think Sam Elliott is a fantastic actor.
He's incredible.
He's kind of having like a little bit of a renaissance. He was on like Justified, and he was really good in that, and he's been really good in this.
He's coming back. I love it.
Yeah, it's nice.
But I loved his words of advice that were like so in Beau fashion, but it was still like so like heavy-hearted too. He was like, listen, like at this point, this is all you have. Like it's the child is over yours. I want to be watching football right now, but what am I doing? I'm helping you. Yeah. So
talking to your ass. All
exactly.
Right? I mean, yeah, I really liked that. I mean, he's got to have the like deepest voice when he's hungover, though. I mean, when he came in, he's I mean, and then when he went to the bar. So later he goes to the bar because Maggie doesn't know yet, and he goes to the bar and he brings him the bottle of champagne, and then he puts it on the bar, and she's like, we were saving this for our first grandkid, and he's like, yeah, and then they kind of go back and forth. They do a little
like,
dance.
Abby? No, Heather.
yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was pretty funny too.
They have so many like highs and lows with this season. It's like really funny, and then it's like, oh,
that's what's great about this show, because it really even ever since I've watched it, I'm like, this is really like deeply dramatic at times for a sitcom, and it's kind of a refreshing change to the format.
I think Netflix just literally is winning at all counts.
Yeah.
No shade to any other network, but like Netflix is very like particular on what they pick, and I think they did a great job with picking this show, because it has like, you got a lot of people that would be interested in this show, and it reminds them a lot of home or connection to some of the characters. So I think it's great.
Yeah, and I mean, I love that this show curses too. I mean, I know you're not supposed to curse here, but I mean, it's so funny because you've never seen, you know, a laugh track or a live audience sitcom with
Laugh
like,
too.
Yeah,
An
like
F-bomb.
yeah, the F word all over the place. It's like constant F words. But I really like that. I mean, and obviously Netflix is the place to do that. So
Yeah. You're killing it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that whole episode just completely left me hanging because, Colt finally made it his decision.
Okay, so yeah, say what happened at the end.
So Colt made it his decision because of Beau, which I love.
Yeah.
He finally was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to man up, deal with the
They had
consequences.
a really tender moment, like
Right?
they've like hated each other basically the whole series
and
until
then now
up
they're
to this
like,
point.
well, Rooster's out of the picture.
Yeah, oh, that's true.
Before we drop the bomb on them, let's talk a little bit about Rooster.
Yes, yeah.
Rooster is out of the house.
Yeah, excommunicated.
Completely. Like gone. Bye, Rooster.
He went to another ranch. He took a job at another ranch, and it just completely
dissolved the relationship.
Absolutely,
With him.
and now they won't even speak. Although they did at the very end of the
Second episode.
yeah. Well, no, at the end of the season
1, part
yes,
2.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
We don't know, guys.
Come on, Netflix. Can you tell us what it is? At the end of that episode, he did give him a knife from his dad passed down to him, and it was not. I mean, Rooster took it, but it wasn't a very
warm.
Yeah, warm reception.
And Beau, I forgot about that. He even throws some shade on it. He was like, I would have never talked to my father like that. My father gave me the knife. I said, thank you, sir. And then I went out and threw it. But you say thank you.
Yeah,
to your father.
And he didn't, and he wouldn't. It was kind of a peace offering, as come back to the ranch. I forgive you. I mean, Beau obviously isn't taking any responsibility because that's just not who he is. No. But but Rooster says no. I have this other job, and he's content with it, and so that's what he's in the midst of. And they really didn't talk over over the first 2 episodes.
No, not at all. I mean, Rooster's got his own stuff to deal with Mary and
right.
that budding relationship, and I thought it was really sweet that he got the bike for her grandson.
And where did that come from? I mean, he obviously...
Poor Kyle does not have a bike on Christmas morning.
Kyle! We're really sorry.
We're so sorry,
We're very
Kyle.
sorry for you. But no, I mean, that was kind of one thing I was like, where did he actually get that? Did he go into somebody's house? Did he go down the chimney like Santa? I mean, I'm not really sure. Anyway.
But yeah, and then I think he really does care about Mary.
Absolutely.
A lot.
I think so too. And I think he cares about her family as well. I think he's, not that he's taking a fatherly role with Heather and Daphne, but I think that he really does care for her and for her kids and for her grandkids, obviously, I mean, with the bike gesture, but I think he's really evolved as well. He's not just, you think he's kind of just a one note sort of let
me go find a girl, let me drink some beer and go on. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I have this one track mind, but he really does care, and I think he wants a serious relationship with her. I'm not sure how serious it is. I don't know if it's, I mean, obviously he knows, he kind of lived with her a little bit.
Yeah, and then I think in turn he's keeping this secret from her,
right,
about Heather being pregnant because
he knew she was going to be pissed too.
Of course, I mean, yeah, rightly
obviously.
So. But I think in the same token, he seems very simple-minded but very smart. He's got some common sense to him, but I think it was literally for protection for both parties involved. This is not his race. This is not his battle to win right now. It's literally he's protecting his brother,
right,
where his loyalty lies. And on top of it, it's not really his place to squeal her daughter's secret to her.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, because that's a slippery slope as well. Right. And he's really caught between a rock and a hard place. Here he has his brother and his girlfriend. That's the worst situation to be in.
Right.
I mean, keeping a secret that it directly involves her has got to be really hard. But yeah, I mean, I think that I completely agree with you. I think that's super slippery in terms of him telling her about her own daughter. That seems... It's
a fine line.
Yeah, for sure.
But, I mean, going down to what ultimately happens, Colt decides to man up. He goes to meet up with Heather, and... he's ready to do all that he can. He brings this cute little baby jersey that says their last name on the back. And I was just like, oh my God, this is the Bennett. I was blanking there for a second. Has Bennett on the back. And then I was like, oh my God, this is so adorable. We're going to have a happy moment. Yay. And then she keeps shaking her head. I was like, oh God, this is going to be bad. I thought she had miscarried, to be honest with you. That was where my mind went. I was like, oh God, this is going to be horrible. Like, he finally got happy, and then now this is what's happening. And he even pulls out the ring, which was meant for Abby.
Yes.
That's a secondhand ring.
Yes.
Heather, don't take that ring.
Sorry.
Get a brand new one, Heather.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Heather breaks it to him that she wants an abortion.
I know. That's crazy.
I hold my breath when I hear that, like.
Yeah. I mean, I think that she, she has a good reason. She said she wants to be with somebody. I mean, and this kind of gets into the next episode, but she tells him she wants to be, she asks if Colt loves her. Mm-hmm. He says he thinks she's great, which, by the way, great line. But she wants to have a kid with somebody that she is in love with. And and I mean, and then we go into this whole, which I think this is where the ranch really gets pretty profound in the fact that we go into this really big abortion debate. Mm-hmm.
Which I love.
Yeah.
I was actually about to talk about that too.
No.
Yeah. Because I love the way that Maggie puts it so bluntly.
Yes.
Because it is a two-sided coin, and I think it is a very gray matter. Like, wherever you stand on the spectrum, like, I'm not getting into, like, pro-life, pro-choice. Right. That's not where I'm coming from on this one. What I'm coming from is, like, whose decision ultimately is this child's life? Like, whether you are aborting it or whether you're keeping it, like, who gets to say so at this point? And it was very nice to see, both perspectives. Like, I totally get the woman's perspective. I do. Like, it's my body. Like, at this point, like, if I make the decision, it's on me. Like, I'm the one carrying this child for 9 months.
Yes. And Maggie so perfectly put that.
Exactly. And it's not even just that, too. It's like, if you're not married and you're coming from, like, that perspective of, like, maybe they didn't get married. Maybe they just, have a really good relationship and have the baby. Like, the mother typically, not always, I'm not throwing you under the bus, guys, but, like, a lot of times the mother becomes a caretaker, even after the baby's born. So in the long run, it is, I see Maggie's perspective, but I also see Beau's perspective on it too.
And I think, and Beau and Colt both have the perspective that it is the man's decision as well as the woman's. And I think both. I agree. I think it's the same way, and it's hard to really comment on it if you're not really in the situation, in my opinion. But I think with him. Yeah, I mean, I think he wants a say in it. It is his kid, and it is his child. So I get his side of it, but I also understand that, Maggie says she's going to be the one who has to carry it for 9 months. She's the one who has to birth it. I mean, all of that stuff is so completely accurate that it's a really interesting way. And also because of the sort of red state that this show kind of falls in, I think that that's also very interesting in the sense of how they handled that as well, because it didn't seem so like one-sided, whereas like another show would have taken that like one hard stance as everybody feels a certain way, and I felt like all the characters were very balanced. The issue was very balanced in this.
I agree. I mean, abortion is such a taboo subject on and off screen, I think, and like wherever you stand on it, I think we can all agree that it is a very gray area. And I loved the way that the show approached it. I think they did a fantastic job, did it justice. And like, I mean, we'll see where it goes, because it kind of leaves us open-ended. We don't know. Sure. She didn't do it yet, so we don't know if that happens or whatever. But
and she's gone after that. They have the scene in the truck, and it goes from the first episode of the second one, and they're in the truck together, and then she's gone. She's gone. I wonder if she got paid for both episodes.
You want to ask her, hey, Heather, if you're watching,
Kelly,
can you let us know?
Kelly Goss, tell me if you've been paid, and then call me.
Yeah, and can we get a little love match going on here?
Yeah, she's very much my type.
Oh,
anyway,
okay.
Look at that. Oh, okay.
I mean, Ashton Kutcher's my type, but he's kind of taken, so
yeah,
there's no one on the show for me. I know, it's so sad. But I love him and Mila together. Shout out to them.
Well, that's really nice of you.
Yeah,
it
is nice. I can I want people happiness.
Yeah, of course.
I'll find my own happiness.
I'm sure he wants that for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ashton. I know you do. I know you love me too. I can at least hope.
You know what? There was one.
Oh.
Yeah, long. You're gonna end up in a ditch. No,
oh God.
No. Speaking of serial killers, he says
great transition.
Yeah, he said that in the episode. He goes, which I thought was such a weird but very valid point. He's like, everyone's family is effed up. You know, the people that are from good families are the ones who are like, I don't know what happened. He came from such a good family. And it's like, that is so true. Everyone on the news, it's always like, well, he came from such a great family. And, you know, we never saw this coming. And it's like,
I love that.
It was so funny. And it was so accurate. I love that line. And then as in the middle of this conversation where she's like bawling and saying that she's getting an abortion, that's what he starts talking about serial killers.
I thought you were going a completely different direction. I thought you were going into Mary shooting up the truck, which we could easily. There's a transition.
Yes, that's a good one. See,
got that going. Mary clearly found out. Oh my God, guys, it's a long night. The ranch has got me all tongue tied. Ashton Kutcher and Mila, though.
Yes,
See,
right. Danny Masterson too. Is
yes, but they. She shows up and like. Clearly, Heather's told her. She just shoots up that whole truck. She's like, "Don't you ever go near my daughter again." That's something that would totally happen. And be blown off by the cops. Then she did thank
Maggie for the cookie tray that she got.
I got you a cookie tray.
That's how small this town is. Like
shooting up your son's truck, but we got you a cookie tray this year. Merry Christmas.
And like they didn't care at all. It wasn't like there was no defense. There was no defense. For Colt.
Because it was rightly like it was earned for him to get his truck.
Yes.
You did this. This is what
and
you
he kept
get.
saying our. I don't know. I'm using quotes. He kept saying our truck. So I'm not really sure. Is it the ranch's truck? It's Rooster. It's both of their trucks.
Yeah, they share a truck. I don't think the town's very big.
Yeah.
So you don't really need the truck to go very far.
Yeah.
Or you're stuck at home till you need that truck. It's like a timeshare.
Right. That's a perfect way to describe it.
It's a timeshare.
Yes, absolutely. No, that was a really funny scene for her. And then when he goes and tells Rooster that she shot up the truck, he asked if she was wearing an American flag bikini.
Yes. He's like, that would make it even hotter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, that's also a good point. It's not bad. I mean, like, not just.
Would you be okay with someone shooting up your truck if they were wearing an American flag bikini?
I think if they put effort into the costume, I think it would maybe like, okay, I can kind of, I could give it a pass.
Okay, I can
And then if you're
see
just in like street clothes and you're just like being
crazy,
being an a-hole, that would just not be the most fun to me.
Well, I'm interested to see where Mary and Rooster's relationship goes because right after she shoots it up and like obviously the American flag bikini kind of thing, but they actually have an in-depth conversation. Like I haven't seen that like deep side of Rooster, and like he's defending himself.
Yeah,
because I mean she's defending her daughters. Like I get it. Like she's a single mom. Like she's a badass mom. She's protecting her children and doing what she thinks and what she knows is right.
Yeah,
like. Telling him to get out of her house because he doesn't agree. Like, do you think that they'll come back together?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a really good point because I think again, it's like Mary's also in a tricky situation where she has, her daughter's been knocked up by her boyfriend's brother. I mean, this is all very incestuous. But I don't know. I thought that was really good. Well, I thought Danny Masterson did a good job of faking that he didn't know because she tried to bait him when she said or you're gonna end up like your truck, and he's like, what, you did something with my truck? And
it was
good. I was like, that was a good reaction.
And he brought chicken, so he had a gift
because he wanted to do the two things that they like to do: eat chicken and have sex.
Yeah.
So
I mean, good night right there. There you go.
But I don't know. To answer your question, I don't know if I would like to think so. I think that they can resolve their differences, but I wonder if Heather does go through with the abortion. I wonder how that will affect their relationship.
That's true.
Because if she, and I wonder what Mary's stance is on Heather's decision, only because Mary mentioned that Heather was the one daughter that she thought wouldn't screw up, and then had to check herself because she thought that Darlene was home. But I wonder how, because maybe she's for it. Maybe she's thinking, okay, Heather does have her whole life in front of her. She doesn't love this guy, But again, it's really hard because then, she has to kind of live with that too. Like her daughter got an abortion from her boyfriend's brother. I mean, I don't know. It's just very
I think
convoluted.
Either way, it's going to be hard.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to move on. I mean, maybe that's just kind of the nature of their, like the small town, small town.
Oh my God. And speaking of small towns too, with Beau and all of his bows.
Oh yeah.
Beau and his bows.
Yeah, there you go. Beau and his bows.
I like Beau and his bows. I was really confused when it came down to like, he's got what was the other girl's name?
Joanne.
Joanne, thank you.
Who came to the door, right?
Who came to the door, and he invites her to dinner. And I love that she wasn't like, "Oh no, don't worry about it. Thank you so much." She's like, "Yeah, that smells good. Let's go. I'll take some."
Yeah, exactly. Like sparks were flying last season, and then I thought I wasn't expecting her to be at the door. Because they didn't really. I mean, it was very like oil and water type at first, and then they kind of made common ground, and then she showed up at his door to borrow his binoculars.
Come on, she did not want binoculars. No, she wanted to go see him.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, she knows the divorce is final.
Yes. Yes.
But it's so crazy to me that Beau is such like a stud in the town too. Like Maggie. Yes. And now they're divorced, which I still think there's like that heat there, but obviously like you can't get rid of that after you've been together for that long. And then you've got Joanne, and then you've also got
well, before that girl, you got the
Brenda.
Yes,
Brenda is her name.
Brenda, but Saunders. but is that who? Oh gosh, the guy in the bar who's always sitting there.
Oh yes, I have his name too, Hank.
Hank's cousin, half cousin / girlfriend, who was
incestuous. We're talking about here.
Incestuous. Who she was all that actress was also on 2.5 Men.
I love it.
Forever.
They're so good.
And she showed up, but she called him a silver fox. That's the only thing I was going to mention. I don't know. That took a long time to get there, but
you got there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yay!
Yes, thank you, guys.
You got there, silver fox.
Thank you.
But yeah.
Anyway, so Brenda. So let's talk about her.
Yeah. Oh, there was some heat there. Mm-hmm. Oh, that like scene was like hot and steamy.
Do you remember exactly what happened? Because I was a little bit confused when I saw that. I know we've seen her before, but and then they kind of explained it, how she thought that she was cheating on a married man, and so all of the women in the town stopped coming to her,
and all the men start coming to her.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't sure that there was sort of, I guess they're just friends. There's never been any sort of like romantic yet, at least. There's no
Not that
romance.
I remember, but I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, guys, comment down below, because I could have easily like completely forgotten about that, because there are a lot of episodes ahead. But I mean, the heat there, I feel like there has to have been something.
For sure.
Some altercation, whether or not they've actually slept together, there's something there. Right. Enough to cause like the divorce to end, because he even makes the comment like, it's such a small town. I hate that for Maggie. Right. Which I think was a dagger to the heart for Brenda at the same time too. Because like, I think that she loves him. From my perspective, is that she loves him, and like,
that's a good perspective. I mean, I think it seemed like she, I mean, truly deeply cares about him.
Of course.
Especially but it seems like they hadn't seen each other in a long time either. So I thought that was a little bit. I thought that was interesting too. They played that scene very well, but I wonder how much time has passed, and she did tell him to take her to dinner. So I wonder also like when how, like, again, we haven't watched it, I guess we're only covering 2 episodes right now, but I wonder how long it'll take until we see her again, or like when that'll happen.
Yeah, because now I have a prediction that Beau is going to be juggling two ladies.
Oh yeah,
now.
For sure.
Yeah.
When Joanne gets back from her cruise.
Right. There you go. With her daughter and the binoculars both in tow.
Right.
She was slick though. I love that he's like, "What? I need some collateral for those binoculars. Here's my key to my house, and while you're at it, go ahead and feed the cat too."
Yeah, that was good.
It was great. I was like, "Yes, ma'am."
I was like, "No, thank you." I mean, like that's
you're like, "No, thank you." And I'm like, "Yes."
Like a great, terrible deal. No, I mean, I wonder. Maybe we can get into this later, but I'm wondering, like, going to predictions. I think that I'm just wondering, the whole thing, ever since I've watched the episode, I keep thinking, is, obviously what's going to happen to our core love triangle, but is she going to get the abortion, or is he going to talk her out of it? That's what I'm wondering.
That's the big thing. And also I think we left the biggest cliffhanger at the end that, Colt had to tell Abby.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, that was, oh God,
so heartbreaking. Because I mean, when you've been together since you're 15, like when someone's like something's up.
Yeah.
Like just intuitively, by the way you carry yourself and like the way you talk, and like she obviously just came back from a vacation with her parents, which we know how that went.
Yeah, that sounds so much fun. You get back from vacation and then your boyfriend anyway.
And then you want to like have some fun, and he's like, let's just hang out.
Yeah.
What?
Well, why does his libido die after?
Do you blame
Well, I
him?
mean, I
like,
guess not.
there's another
true.
woman that's carrying his child. Like, that would shut my libido off too.
Like light switch.
Bye.
Yeah.
We're gonna shut this down for a minute because he's like so torn.
Yeah,
of
for
doing
sure.
the right quote unquote. Is there really a right thing though? A quote unquote right thing of like being with Heather because that's a child.
Yeah.
Or being with the person that he loves, which is Abby. And how does he break that to her? Like, Rooster's advice was bad because he said, you got off scot-free. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to tell Abby.
But
Like,
the whole small town thing, I thought that was kind of funny. The paper trail, whatever.
oh,
Anyway, going back
Walgreens
to
got
that,
the
yeah.
pregnancy test at Walgreens. You know that so-and-so is going to know so-and-so, and they're going to tell so-and-so. That is
But
so
the town
true.
must be that big if they have a Walgreens. I mean, it's got to be like
I didn't have a Walgreens. We had a Kroger. And if you guys are in Los Angeles, Kroger is Ralph's. That is Ralph's. We had one.
I
no
have
movie
Kroger
theater.
products. I mean, I bought
Yeah.
Kroger products. Is that the same thing?
Yes, it is.
From Ralph's.
From the South.
I think I bought a
There's
Brenda filter.
no movie theater.
Really?
Closest movie theater is 30 minutes away. Closest Walmart is 30 minutes away. Closest mall is an hour away. Guys, I'm from...
Did you cruise Maine when you were younger?
No,
Is
we
that
went
what
down
you
to the
did?
boat docks.
Oh, well, I mean, that's
We
a
live
lot-
on a river,
that
so we're on the border
that's
of
a lot more
Indiana.
exciting than what I just mentioned.
Border of Indiana, so we just like hung out on the boat docks.
That's
but
cool.
like, it's true though, when I got in trouble, like, my mama knew before I got home. And that was before the age of social media, so that can tell you how small towns are.
Well, that's true, and like she was obviously going to find out no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
There was no, he had to tell her. That's why he said like that's because I mean Rooster's advice was terrible, but she was going to find out regardless. So it's better that he tell. I mean, can you imagine her finding out from another person? That would be terrible.
But the way he broke it to her, like, there's no right way of breaking that to anybody either. But it was just like he was trying to be so gentle about it. And I mean, I don't know what I would do in that situation, to be honest.
No.
Thank God I've never been faced with that situation because it's like a whole nother like realm of crazy. But like, I love that he was trying so hard. He was like, you knew about this time that it happened. Like, I didn't cheat on you. But I mean, do you think that Abby will ever forgive him for it?
You know what's funny is when that scene was playing out, I actually thought for a second maybe she won't care. Maybe not that she wouldn't care, but like but maybe she wouldn't walk out and leave like she did. I thought maybe for some reason, okay, she loves him again. She has every right to do what she did.
Right.
All I'm saying is that I thought maybe she, okay, here she loves him. He made a mistake. She knew about it. It wasn't like he cheated on her.
Right.
For some reason, I thought maybe, okay, she'll just take a step back. Maybe they'll have a conversation about it, and and maybe that's how that's how the story will catapult forward. Maybe because maybe she'll unravel eventually into where she did. But I really for a second thought that she wouldn't do that. I think she's pissed. I think she's not. I think it's going to take a lot for her to accept this and to come back from this. One thing I will say just about the
love triangle.
Well, yeah, the love triangle or the abortion aspect is what and maybe they will show this later, but we got to see so much of Colt's journey, kind of to acceptance to accepting this. But we didn't see any of Heather's. Like, how did she get to that point? How did she decide? I mean, obviously she kind of explained it, but it would be interesting to see what else she could do.
What her thought process is. Like, where is she coming from?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I can understand, like, her life situation. Like, she's coming from a single mom and, like, seeing her sister, like, have two kids from different dads. Like, I can totally understand where she'd be scared.
Right.
But
and maybe that is the reason, but it just is. I hopefully they will explore that a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited to see how many more guest stars come on, and I'm excited to see where this love triangle goes. To be honest, because there's so many love triangles now. Beau's got one, Colt's got one, like father like son.
Yes, exactly.
Father like son, and Rooster's now in the hunting den.
Oh yeah,
he's
that's right.
by himself.
Yes,
with a rat and an old beer.
But she drank, which is. I mean,
no.
I mean, that's just the most disgusting
5-year-old
thing.
beer.
Like, yeah, it was not good.
No.
But who decorated their Christmas tree? There's several questions that I have. Like, who decorated their Christmas tree?
Should we ask? Hey, who decorated your Christmas tree?
Did
Will you
Beau
let us
decorate
know?
it? Did like no?
Wait, what was on it? I didn't pay attention.
Well, it was just like there was a Christmas tree up. There was like
lights,
balls, and lights, and what's the silver stuff?
Tinsel.
Thank you.
I'm a Christmas fanatic, guys, so I love these two episodes because I'm so happy.
It's so weird that it's like the first, like the middle of, or like the beginning of summer.
First day of summer was yesterday.
Yeah, it's the beginning of summer, and we're watching a show about Christmas. I always thought that was funny, but I mean, yeah, who decorated their Christmas tree? I thought. I mean, Beau didn't do it. There's only Beau and Colt living in that house.
I think Colt did it, or Maggie came over and surprised them. All right. Well, yeah, we got a lot of predictions, so we'll have to see what comes up next. Don't tell us if you're already watching Netflix because we're watching as we go. We're talking about 2 episodes per show. So again, AfterBuzzers, I can't talk tonight, guys. AfterBuzzers, thank you so much for tuning in for the season premiere of The Ranch. Again, my name is Candice Cruz. You can find me on all of my social media at Candice R. Cruz.
And I'm Bryce McLeay. You can follow me at Bryce Advice on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.